All right. It's that time again. Late Night Crypto Talk. Bitcoin Brandon here from San Jose, California. Can't remember what city I'm in. By the way, Santa Clara, San Jose, Los Angeles. Go ahead and type in the chat box where you are listening in from. And I see Stacy Alugas from New Orleans. What's going on? Anthony Pinkston, Andrea Bernard, Lorna Vasquez, Lynette Rubel, Tracy Kubish, Patty Moore. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button as well when you come on. Lynette from Oklahoma, Patty from Hawaii, Tracy from Mississippi, Nike from Cleveland, Ohio. As a disclaimer, I'm not a licensed financial advisor to be giving financial advice. I read the news, give my opinion, share suggestions, and it is up to you to make an informed, intelligent decision. Nike from, or Jamarj from London. Mr. Lopes. There's 4 rules I live by in the crypto space to have success. Rule number 1, education is key. Education is everything. Rule number 2, never invest money that you cannot afford to lose. Rule number 3, always get a return on investment back as fast as possible. And rule number 4, where do you see yourself in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? What vehicle have you chosen to make that happen in? Make a decision, take action, remain focused, and do not get distracted. There are many things out there that can distract you in the space. You have limited resources. Keep that in mind. Now, this is not going to guarantee you success, but it will at least minimize your risk. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the most that we can ask for. So let me go ahead and get screen share set up. And share screen. Stop that. As you guys know, I am here at the Blockchain Expo, Santa Clara, California. I need to pull up, give me a second here, I'm on my other tablet. Okay, here we go. And mute myself. Okay, here we go. Oops. All right. I see you, Patricia Davis, Stan Williams. What's going on? Mr. Stewart from New York City. First up, we're going to talk about the crypto whale alert. And I brought this up, you know, when I teach you guys how to read the charts and what the exchanges say. By following the buy and sell orders of whales, you can kind of tell the direction the market is going to go into because everybody else follows the same thing. But let's look at the market right now. Hit refresh. All right, the top bar $135 billion now. That is a much different than yesterday. Yesterday was what, 23 billion. So the market's gone up by 14 billion dollars in the last 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance is at 53.5%, which meant a lot of that money went, more than half of that money went into Bitcoin itself. And there we go. Bitcoin is up 8% over the last 24 hours, $4,100. So it's crossed that $4,000 mark. Ripple's up 4%, Ethereum 6%, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV is up 15%. So the top 10 coins are all in the green. This is interesting though. Tether's at 1.55%. That means that people are pulling their money out and putting it into Tether. So the market might be on a downward trend right now. Let's look at, yeah, that's what it looks like. Downward trend. You guys see the price graph, 7 days. Everything's pointed down. So even though it's in the green, it's going down right now. I'm not going to pull up. I think I can still pull up Poloniex without having to log in. I want to look at it more closely. Show me the exchange. Interesting. They default now to Bitcoin Cash SV, so they are trying to push that. All right, the last price, 41.79, 24-hour low, 38.92, 24-hour high, 43.89. Since I'm not logged in, my settings are not here. Let me set this up. Don't need that. All right, let's look at the 5-minute, 6-hour chart. Those of you in KGX should know what this means. I've been teaching this for the last couple of weeks. Come on up. What is that, Jamarj? Yahoo Finance is listing Ripple at 39 billion as opposed to CoinMarketCap. Huh. I wonder where Yahoo's getting their numbers from. It's a $15 billion market cap, not 39. Or are you talking about circulating supply? 39 billion. Okay, back to Poloniex. Don't freeze up on me now. 6-hour chart. Here we go. All right, yeah, the bottom Bollinger Bar is pointing downward. So is the middle. And the top one seems to be flatline. So it's a little downward trend from earlier today. But it's still in the positive in the green. All right, I just wanted to verify what this is telling me. So when you're able to read this, you know what the market's doing. What about the top 24, the top performers? Bitcoin private is up 40%. That looks like a pump to me. Oh, what is this? Sarin Labs is up 36%. I bought more Sarin Labs today. Then hold up. Let me see if they finally hit my bread wallet. It should have. I transferred that earlier. 36%. I just made 36% on my money. Wow, it's still not showing up on here. I'll check my Cryptopia later. Oh, yeah, there it is. I made some money. I like that. All right, anyways, Sarin Labs is up 36%. It's at 11 cents per coin. I think I bought it when it was less than about 7 cents, 8 cents a coin. Verge is up 35%. Really, Verge? That's the porn coin. Factum, 25%. Tron's up 20%. Tron is one that's another porn coin. So interesting to see Tron and Verge both up. Popular. Bitcoin SV's having a big turn. VeChain, Steam, Basic Attention. All right, what about the worst performers? Some of you guys, if you were listening to me without me having to tell you what to do because I'm not a licensed financial advisor, you made some money. That's all I can say. Quark Chain, Raven Coin, anything of importance? Nope. Nope. Still positive around the whole market. And since it's that way, well, let's see what happens, how the market moves, because I still say it is being manipulated right now. So approximately 9 million stable coins transferred to Binance to buy BTC, Ethereum, and LTC. And whenever you see a whale doing something, the rest of the market follows suit. I've been tracking on Poloniex. There's a whale here. Let me see if it's still on the boards. That's making a lot of money trading and buying against everybody else. There it is right there. 38 Bitcoin. Let me see if it still has it on the buy order side too. There it is again, 38 Bitcoin. So there's a sell order for 38 Bitcoin. That's 160,000. He's got to sell at 42.23. What is the last price right now? 41.79. So he's betting that this is going to continue to go up. The moment it hits 42.23, he's going to sell automatically. But then look what he's doing. He's got a buy order at 41.40. It keeps jumping on me. 41.47. The last price is 41.72. So the moment it hits 41.47, he's going to buy another 38 Bitcoin. This person is a pro. He's been going on now for a couple of days now. He's probably making $5,000 to $10,000 a pop every single time, every transaction. This is how you let your money work for you. I believe it's the same individual. That's not a coincidence. 38.081, 38.081. He's playing with the same money and he's making a killing right now. But what other people do is they look at what large numbers like this, what whales do, and they act accordingly. Here's another order, 19 Bitcoin for $81,000. Let me see if I see a similar. Yep, there it is again, 19 Bitcoin. Buy and sell order. These are pros. It might even be a bot that's doing this, but I think it's an individual or individuals. And when you got that much money to put in the market to play with, you are making a killing on, you make money when the market goes down, you make money when the market goes up. So learn to read the chart so you can recognize what's taking place here. Bitcoin don't need to reach $20,000 for you to make money. This dude's making money and it's only at $4,000. Interesting. I think this might be the same person too. 19, because I see the same pattern. I don't see any others high marks doing this. Everybody else is reacting to this. All right. Crypto well alert. Approximately 9 million stable coins transferred. As the BTC trends change to a bullish run, it seems more whales are trying to get into Bitcoin and purchase at the current discount. At the time of writing this, BTC is trading at 42.10, which is still 78.58% below the all-time high of 19,000 in December last year. Bitcoin, Ethereum, EOS, Ripple, Litecoin, and all other major cryptocurrencies are up 9 to 15% in the last few hours alone. We are able to track 6 transactions of whales who deposited USDC and PAX, both stablecoins, to Binance alone. So here's the transactions. Remember with blockchain, everything is public. Every transaction ever made can be seen. So you see what's going on. Only difference is you don't know who's doing it. So that's it for that one. Now I want to go to the LA Times, because it seems the only time you get mainstream media covering something is when it's in the negative or it's ridiculously in the positive. Then you see them saying something about it. So LA Times came out. It says, Bitcoin plunges again. Now the only currency worse than Bitcoin is Venezuela. Do you know how misleading that is? It's not even factually true. I call that a clickbait headline. Let me put this link in the chat box. I'm from LA. And that's why nobody's reading the LA Times. We get our news on the internet now. So I'll post this. You guys have been quiet, so hopefully I didn't lose you. All right, Bitcoin plunges again. So let's see what they have to say, and what can we learn from this? Unfortunately, most people out there that are ignorant to Bitcoin, uneducated, they read this stuff and think that it's all true. Well, if the LA Times said so, it must be true. I don't even like using the term fake news because I think there's a political agenda behind that. But the news media don't always tell the truth. That's a fact. So if nothing else, Bitcoin was supposed to protect people from governments that were destroying their own currencies. Governments such as Venezuela's, where inflation is said to be somewhere around 49,000% right now. Well, that's a false statement. Bitcoin was supposed to protect people. No, that's not what Bitcoin's supposed to do. Bitcoin gives us autonomy, ownership of our own money, regardless of what the government's doing. Bitcoin is as a result of distrust in the government, not a protective hedge against the government. But anyways, let's continue. Lately, though, Bitcoin hasn't fulfilled that mission, really. Not unless you think being down about 80%, as Bitcoin has been since last December, counts as protecting you from the 99.6% losses you would have taken on your Venezuelan bolivar during that time. Okay, this is a half truth. If you base Bitcoin just from December to now, there's almost an 80% drop. But when you look at Bitcoin historically, it has dropped 4 times with over 75% or more and bounced right back every single time. Does anybody think that the Venezuelan bolivar is going to bounce back? Oh, no, it's dead. It's dead and gone. So this is a misleading statement and twisting of the facts that the LA Times is trying to put out here. Make sure you're following me on this. Try to make a false comparison. The fact of the matter is that Bitcoin has been around for 10 years now. Oh, they admitted it. Okay. But we still haven't found one use for it. Really? At its most grandiose, it was supposed to replace the US dollar. No, it wasn't. Nobody said that Bitcoin is supposed to replace the US dollar, or that's the reason why Bitcoin was generated. Now, I got to watch myself saying that because there's an article where Tim Draper just says crypto will surpass fiat. There's a difference between surpass and replace. All right? LA Times is doing a play on words here. Is that it's going to replace it. It's not going to replace the dollar. The dollar is going to die all by itself. It says, but at most realistic, it was at least supposed to replace, say, the Zimbabwean dollar, as the way people did business in places where inflation had spiraled out. False. First of all, Zimbabwe is now on the US dollar. They made that their national currency, not Bitcoin. Why has Bitcoin stumbled over even the lowest of bars? The lowest of bars? Let me go back to, sometimes facts do matter. Let's look at the facts here. At least they admit Bitcoin's been around for 10 years. But let's take a look at this. As soon as the charts can pop up on me. Can you guys hear me? Tracy just says can't hear me. I see Ray, Shane, West. If you guys can hear me, you know, type Y in the chat box. But I'm going to assume you can because nobody else is saying they can't. All right, look at this. LA Times is basing its information on this figure right here, as if Bitcoin started out at $19,500 and dropped to its current price of $4,170. Okay? That's what LA Times is trying to do. Completely ignoring this. At one point, Bitcoin was $129 and less. It's only going back to 2013. And look how long it stayed here. There's been multiple times Bitcoin has dropped 80% or more. So this is another false statement. But you know what? They can get away with this because most people don't even know what Bitcoin is, and they definitely don't know the history of Bitcoin. So the easiest way to think about this is Bitcoin wants to make it so that you don't have to trust banks to move your money or governments to keep your currency from losing its value. False. It's going to be a long night. I got more articles to go through. That is not why Bitcoin was generated. Again, Bitcoin was generated to eliminate the middleman so that we can avoid the excessive fees and the middleman's ability to shut us down or go through 2008 where we lost all of our 401ks and savings because of the greatest recession since the Great Depression. I didn't see the LA Times saying we need to get rid of the dollar then. The dollar was responsible for that. But they're giving half-truths here, which leads me to believe I don't even think they fully understand what this is. So the Bitcoin does the first part by setting up a system where instead of paying a middleman, to process a transaction, the network pays a group of middlemen. You don't know how to do that. No, that's false. He said, let me continue. That's what Bitcoin mining is. No, it's not. People race to be the first one to update the public ledger of all Bitcoin transactions, cutting out the need for a bank to verify things, to try to win the new Bitcoin that is given out to whoever hits that mark. That is a simplistic way of explaining it. And it is partially true, the way they said that. But I was trained to be a lawyer. And we can ask certain questions or make certain statements and word it in such a way that what you want to come out is going to happen. I'll give you an example right now. I'm not going to say any names, but there's a political, somebody in office right now that is now saying they're changing the talking points. And the talking point is now to say, to the best of my recognition, I believe that this is what took place. Now, when you are talking to the feds or a grand jury and you make a statement like that, you gave yourself a loophole. You made a statement, but you put a but in front of it by saying, to the best of my knowledge, to the best of my recognition, meaning I meant to the best that I can recall. All that means that if you're proven wrong later, you can say, well, I just didn't remember. You know, you got to play with words here. That's what they're doing here. Let me tell you what it really does. The blockchain is being built by miners. That is correct. How do you incentivize miners to build the blockchain? By rewarding them. And the reward is the reward for Bitcoin. You are not paying them directly like that. The Bitcoin mathematical system is paying them. You do pay fees when you do transactions, just like in a bank. The only difference is that crypto transaction fees are minimum. They're cheap or almost non-existent. That's the only thing that you're paying. So no, it is not the same thing. The miners are not the middlemen. But if you're not educated, you don't know this. And then they say, which brings us to the second part, aimed at retaining the cryptocurrency's value. Okay. The total number of Bitcoins that will ever be created has been strictly limited in advance to preclude any possibility of their value being inflated away. Wrong. Wrong. Well, partially true. So they're making that as that's the only thing that's a fact. The reason why it is set at 21 million ever is so that no one entity can decide, yeah, let's just go out and print more. Like what happens with the fiat money. When the government gets into trouble or they run out of money and they're in debt, you know what they do? They don't stop spending like they should, balance the budget. No. We're going to keep spending. We're just going to print more money. And a result of printing more money is inflation. So here they're they're playing with you here. It's only 21 million so that we can avoid inflation. No, the only reason there's inflation is when governments irresponsibly decide to print more money when there's nothing backing it. See, Bitcoin, you just can't print Bitcoin. There's a proof of work with Bitcoin. It costs almost $4,000 to create one Bitcoin. There's work being involved to create a Bitcoin. Okay, let me continue. It says, but there's a problem. The reason Bitcoin miners are willing to do the very real work of processing transactions is that they think the Bitcoin they're getting paid with will keep rising in value. Really? Let's go back to, is that what these miners thought here during the cold days of Bitcoin? It's only the last year Bitcoin has been skyrocketing like this. So if what they're saying is true, then no Bitcoin should have been mined during this period. Let's continue what they're saying. Well, the finite supply certainly helps, but at some point there has to be more demand for them too, which means that people have to actually start using them. No, they don't, because Bitcoin is not being used and viewed in a way to go out and spend. People are hoarding their Bitcoin. They're using it as a store of value because they do believe that it's precious and it's going to be digital gold one day. So again, it's like every sentence is false, and they're building off of a falsity. But why would people use their Bitcoins when, as we just said, they think their price is only going to go up? That's a good question. They wouldn't. They just hold on to their Bitcoin as an investment and use their dollars for day-to-day purchases, which of course is more or less what has happened. That's true. That is true. Indeed, the total number of Bitcoin transactions hasn't increased at all in the last 2 years. That's true. So what's your point? So people mine Bitcoin because they think mainstream adoption will make the price go up a lot more. But the fact that it's going up as much as it is means that it's not going to get adopted by anyone but the most fervent believers. That's false. It's getting hoarded instead. That is true. This in turn creates a natural boom-bust cycle that's been amplified by what a few academics say looks like repeated price manipulation. It is manipulation right now. The big boys are manipulating the market. So all of that entire paragraph is true. The result, okay, what are you saying the result is? That since the end of last year, Bitcoin has been massively outperformed by the euro, despite the fact that Europe's central bank has been printing money that whole time. Badly outperformed by the Turkish lira, despite the fact that the country's central bank has been forced to keep interest rates inappropriately. I'm about to destroy this paragraph, but wait, keep listening. Inappropriately low by the regime, and has only modestly outperformed the Venezuela bolivar, despite the fact that Venezuela's central bank has been irresponsible on the kind of world historical level we haven't seen since Yugoslavia in the 90s or Zimbabwe in the early 2000s. Stop right there. Okay, I'm gonna tear this one apart. They're saying that all the other coins have been outperforming Bitcoin. Really? Let's go back to the beginning. Bitcoin started at 0.008 cents in 2009. Right now, it's worth $4,169. How many of you have had that type of return on your money sitting in a bank account? Go back to whatever you had in your savings account in 2009 and fast forward 10 years to today. Has your bank account increased by over 1,000-fold? Or have you been getting 2% on your money per year in your savings account? You mean to tell me My investment at 0.008 cents has grown to $4,169. And here the LA Times is sitting here acting like it's performing worse than the Bolivar in Venezuela. Get out of here with that. Put me on stage with any of these clowns on a debate. It's game over. Because I don't back down and I'll call you out. This is BS right here. Now, losing a little less value with the worthless currency of a bankrupt government run by an economically illiterate drug cartel, has Venezuela's ruling class also gotten into the cocaine trade? Might not seem little much of an accomplishment. That's because it isn't. It's something that everyone, even countries like Turkey, that are undergoing currency crisis of their own, have managed to do. And that at the very least, Bitcoin has too. So maybe some sort of congratulations are in order, really. Bitcoin is a better store of value than the worst store of value there is. Yeah, the US dollar, because let's pull the US dollar back. Do you know that the US dollar is worth only 13 cents as it was 100 years ago? 13 cents, a $100 bill. So if you're going to go by comparisons, Bitcoin started off at 0.008 cents and is now worth $4,000. The US dollar, $100 value, is now worth 13 cents. But you want to talk about Venezuela and the Bolivar. This is what I'm talking about when you got the media that is being not honest. They either are purposefully lying to you or they are completely ignorant and uneducated in the space. Which one is worse? You tell me. Which one's worse? I'd rather they just be ignorant and not know what's going on, because that means that when they get the facts, maybe they'll change their mind. I still doubt it. But this is why you personally need to be educated. So when you read crap like this, you're able to tell that it's crap. It ain't the real deal. We had Bloomberg and Forbes magazine came out and said, don't buy the dip. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That ain't even true in stock market. You always buy the dip. That's the freaking point. But they're telling all of y'all, don't buy the dip. Yeah, I'm having fun with this. All right. Speaking of, since they think that Bitcoin is dropping like crazy, oh, what is this just the very next day? Green across the board. As all major cryptocurrencies rally, recover recent losses. Oh, I mean, did the US dollar rally? Has inflation slowed down? But LA Times says Bitcoin is done yet. Oh, a rally just happened. Let me copy this, put it in the chat box. It's the same day as the LA Times article. Do you think they realize that or even read it or even care? Well, let's look at some facts here. November 28th, that's today. Those watching the cryptocurrency markets will be aware that the last week has been a turbulent one. However, it would appear that the market slide has now been stopped, at least temporarily. All the major cryptocurrencies are currently showing significant gains during the past day. Oh, wow. I thought this thing was performing worse than the Bolivar. Hold on, let me get some water. A wave of green is sweeping over the cryptocurrency market. Somebody send this article straight over to the LA Times. Or better yet, tomorrow will the LA Times come out and say, yeah, yesterday we said that the Bitcoin is, worse than the Bolivar, and today it's starting to recover. Will they come out with an article tomorrow saying that? Nope. Nope. I'll tell you. So, Bitcoin has once again surged north of the $4,000 barrier. The following market visualization from Coin360. I haven't used or looked at Coin360 since it even came out first time back in 2017. It's like CoinMarketCap. Let me pull them up. I'm just curious. It's always good to have two sources, and so I might start using them as well as CoinMarketCap to tell stuff. All right, I like this layout. So this chart right here, what you see in here is this up here. So you see this? CoinMarketCap is just giving you the number. $135 billion market cap. Bitcoin dominance is 53.5%. Total currencies is 2,076 crypto coins. So this one, though, is doing it in a bar, a graph. You could tell. Bitcoin is dominant. Then you got Ripple, Ethereum. I don't even know why it's even have this big. It should be, Bitcoin should take up half this screen, and all these little ones should pop up here. All right, so Coin 360. What else can I do here? I can't scroll anything. Auto update is switched on. So yeah, it's an auto update. What if I just click on Bitcoin? Oh, this is cool. Let's see what information it's giving me. Change in the last 24 hours. Crypto market cap, 72 billion. Volume. Algorithm. Share card. So, oh, wow. So it's giving me any related news. New news on that. All right, let's look at Ripple. I found a new website to play with. I like the information it's given. And related news. So remember, whenever I'm looking at CoinMarketCap and I will see some coin that popped up, I'm like, what? Where'd that one come from? Is there any news on it? So I haven't heard nothing. At least this one is going to give me news on any of these. Try BTC or Bitcoin. But how am I supposed to know? Look at all this. Tether. Let's look at Tether. What? Any local news on it? No, there's no related news. All right, I found a new site to play with. I'm going to bookmark this. Well, no, not add. I'm going to bookmark it to my bookmarks bar. All right. So back to the article. So the following market visualization shows that the cryptocurrency markets are solidly in the green today. Moreover, the total cryptocurrency market cap has increased by 10.66% during the last 24 hours. So the market just went through a 10% jump just today. I don't see LA Times saying major rally. Can you imagine the stock market having a 10% jump in one day? I mean, Donald Trump would be out there on the front line saying, thanks to me, Donald Trump, y'all just made money. You think I'm lying? Of course he'd do that. Trading volume, on the other hand, is slightly down today. At the time of writing, trading volume has decreased by 1.94%. So what that means is there hasn't been much trading volume, but new money came into the space. That's why I always look at this market on CoinMarketCap, the number at the top. All right, come on up here. I know what the number is the last time I looked at it. So I know new money came in, but not much trading has been taking place. People are kind of sitting back and just riding the wave right now. They're not doing much. So let's see. Okay, this is a pretty short article. Bitcoin is certainly having a good day, judging by its market performance. Hell yeah, 5, 6, 7% increase. The premier cryptocurrency has shot up dramatically during the past day. If you believe in LA Times, you think it's dead and gone already. So it rebounded from $3,700 to $4,100. The following market visualization from CoinDesk shows how Bitcoin has risen substantially throughout the day. The intraday trend is clear in that the premier cryptocurrency is rising. Yep, look at that. Bam, had a big jump up, and then had another big jump up. CoinDesk. I don't normally look at CoinDesk. Let's take a look. Oh, this is their own CoinDesk that they're looking at. So I just want to see from coindesk.com. Okay. Up 8%. Starting to dip though. Remember I said that at the beginning? Starting to have a little drop. 3,900, 4,300. Here's another chart. I know about this site, but I don't look at it that often because CoinMarketCap gives me everything I need to know. $315 change, but I do like this setup. So I'm going to add this to my bookmarks as well. Remember, you may be an expert today, but tomorrow you're not. Always be learning. Always be willing to learn something new. That's what I do. All right, let's go to the last article up. Billionaire Tim Draper says crypto will surpass fiat. Isn't that a complete opposite of what LA Times said? So who am I going to listen to? Some LA Times beat writer that has no skin in the game as a hater, or a billionaire that has money in the crypto space, is invested, and has a whole lot to lose? So Tim Draper, crypto will surpass fiat. The billionaire Tim Draper is untouched by the sharp recent sale in the crypto market. What did I say the other day? The big guys aren't even fazed by this. We don't care about what the price of it is today. In fact, I hope it stays low. I don't want to see it run up to $10,000 anytime soon. Now, Brandon, have you lost your mind? Are you crazy? No. I know what it's going to do long term. I want it to stay low so that I can hoard as many coins as I possibly can. I'm thinking like an investor here. So Tim Draper is a huge Bitcoin bull and has made several predictions during the past months. The one thing that is common for his predictions is that cryptocurrencies have the potential to grow tremendously over the time. He stated 2 months ago that the crypto market can hit $80 trillion in 15 years. 80 trillion? All right, stop right there. Let's put this in perspective. I want to put this in perspective so that I'm going to put you in dream mode for a second. Let's go back to the Bitcoin chart. You need to understand how big 80 trillion is and why they're not phased. All right. Come on up, come on up. This is the highest Bitcoin has ever been. But it was at $19,500 a coin. When this took place, Bitcoin's market cap was 281. That's a little more than that. It was about almost 400, but this is about 280. Oh, there we go. $330 billion market cap of Bitcoin. Right now, Bitcoin's market cap is 72 billion. So you got to add another 300 billion onto that, right? And Bitcoin was at almost 19,500. The total market cap at this time was $900 billion, almost a trillion, 100 million away from 100 billion away from a trillion. So less than a trillion, and we had a $19,000 coin. What happens if it's 80 trillion and Bitcoin has between 30 to 50% market penetration on that? We're talking Bitcoin price close to $1 million plus per coin. Well, more than that, way more than that. Now that I think about it, these guys have vision. So he's saying in 15 years, how old will you be 15 years from now? If you do nothing and you're working a job, but you're relying on your 401k for your retirement in 15 years, how much money are you going to have? So the way blockchain and cryptocurrencies are behaving at the moment resemble that of the internet a few years back before the technology took the world by storm. However, in a more recent interview, he explained that Bitcoin could reach $250,000 by 2022 if we think globally. He bases his prediction not only on strict economics, but in the paradigm shift that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies represent. For Draper, this paradigm shift means thinking globally. Thinking globally. I like that, Jay. Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. That's a fact. The transaction to becoming global might already be happening. According to a recent report, Bitcoin is getting closer at overtaking MasterCard regarding daily transfers. That is big. Even so, Draper now announced that he is not worried, even though cryptos had the steepest sell-off since April 2013, according to Forbes. Draper even reaffirmed his prediction that Bitcoin price will reach 250,000 by 2022. Surprisingly, he added that he expects the entire global economy will eventually pivot to cryptocurrencies, with Bitcoin leading the exchange. I don't agree with that 100%. The only way I see an entire global economy switching to crypto, you would need to have a major catastrophic worldwide event, like a World War III, or a complete economic collapse of the entire world financial system. And the only saving grace that's left would be cryptos. I'm not saying it can't happen. I just believe that the crypto space can move and survive side by side with the fiat currencies, because every single government on the planet uses money and their military to establish control and have a democracy or autonomy. Well, what's the word? My brain is going on me. Dictatorship, or whatever you want to call it. Communism, democracy, but they all have their own currency. And you think that those countries are going to give up their currency to go on a cryptocurrency that they don't control? That's why I said a catastrophe has to take place before any government is going to give up control like that. So how can the crypto market become $1 trillion market? Draper recently spoke to Mike Green of Theo Macro on behalf of investor platform Real Vision. He did this during the World Crypto Con Las Vegas earlier this month, and told them that cryptocurrency would eventually make up 2/3 of all the world's currency value. That is a huge number. Down the road, when we can easily spend or invest or do whatever we want with cryptos, they're frictionless, they cost you less, said Draper. I mean, just by that alone, they're going to cost you less. It's going to be better for people. And so they're going to move to crypto. And they're going to go away from the political currency. They call it fiat. That's a good theory. But again, I just know how the government works. Any government for that matter. They're going to counter this by coming out with their own digital currency. And they're going to call it crypto and get all the people confused. The only way I see this happening, you need to have an educated base. My cousin Pookie on the corner needs to understand that crypto is much better than him than cash. And I don't see that happening anytime soon. But he's a dreamer. Tim Draper didn't become a billionaire just because. He sees the bigger picture, which means that short-term volatility does not unnerve him. Bitcoin is, according to Draper, a game-changing revolution. I agree. He says that he will use Bitcoin for everything in the future, and that cryptocurrencies are the currencies of the future. I do agree with that part, though. It is the currency of the future. I just don't think it's going to replace anything. Eventually, I want to be able to raise a fund that is all Bitcoin, invest it all in Bitcoin into a bunch of different companies, and have them pay their employees and suppliers all in Bitcoin. Whoa, what? Those of you working a 9-to-5 job that think that Bitcoin is crap, it ain't going nowhere, it's a scam, one day you're going to get your salaries paid in Bitcoin. How about that? Will you believe at that time? And it's all built into smart contracts so that if one of those companies gets sold, I push a button and it just shoots into all of their Bitcoin wallets. You see that? He just, with one button. Draper said, all right, I think we covered enough for tonight on Late Night Crypto Talk. We just finished day 1 of the Blockchain Expo. I'm finally back in my hotel room, ready to relax. And actually, I'm not going to relax. I'm going to do some studying because I learned a lot from some of the businesses, and I want to look them up and listen to a lot more of the speakers today. But tomorrow, I'm going to go more through the booths, and I'll Facebook Live. I'll walk through all of them in Facebook Live before I go back and start looking at them one by one. But I asked some questions today, and I'll talk more about this tomorrow when I give a recap. But I love going to the booths and asking questions. And just because I'm not be that interested, I just want to see how they respond and how they answer. And you know who I ran into today? I ran into Elijah, and I also ran into LaShayna. And LaShayna was with me when we were at some of these booths. And she's heard me tell the story like when I was in London. And in London, I said 50% of the people in the room didn't even know what's going on. And when I asked them questions at the booths, once I get them off their talking points, they don't even know what's going on. So today, she was standing there, right? And there was this guy, he had this new machine. It was to me, it was a mining rig, but it's a new GPU operating system. And they had it hooked up to some video game to show off the graphics and everything. So for those of you who don't know, mining machines are basically video game rigs that have been reprogrammed to mine Bitcoin and crypto coins. That's why there's such in demand, because people are buying these souped up gaming rigs. So I could tell he was a gamer, but the first thing I said, so what is this? Is this used for gaming? He's like, no, it's not used for game machines. It just has more GPU power. Yeah, I know that, but what is it being used for? Are you using it for blockchain stuff? No, it's not used for the blockchain, not used for mining. Like, what the heck you got it out here for? That's what I'm thinking to myself. But I'm just asking them questions with a smile on my face, right? And then I said, well, I see it using a lot of power. You got three vent fans on the side, and I see your air ducts here in the front. This is a powerful machine. He got excited with that. He said, yeah, it's got this much power. And then one guy asked him a question, another guy about the power, and he couldn't answer the question. And LaShayna's over there cracking up because she knows what I'm doing. I wasn't, trying to get them off track. I just wanted to see if they know what's going on. And I asked a bunch of booths the same type of questions. And after maybe 2 or 3, they were kind of lost. They didn't know. Thank you, Justice. Autonomy. That was the word I was looking for. But they were kind of lost. And I'm going to have fun. But I will say, it's been, when I went to London, when was that? March or April? April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. It's been 8 months since the last blockchain expo. And I will say that this one is better organized. I didn't go to the one in Santa Clara last year. I wish I did. That was during the heyday of BitConnect. I wish I did. But at this one, comparing it from London, there's more people here, even though it should be a whole lot more. And I know why it's not, because of the bear market for Bitcoin. But the people who were here, I could tell, were more educated than a normal crowd would be. But even then, I was sitting in listening to a talk, and the guy on stage asked a question, and he said, how many of you, raise your hand if you've bought or sold or traded anything with Bitcoin? And I looked around, and like only a quarter of the hands were raised. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is a freaking blockchain expo, and most of you here ain't even bought or done anything with Bitcoin? I was amazed by that. So that just tells me, again, we are so much at the early stages of this that it's not even funny. But that is it for tonight. I will be back. Let me think. Tomorrow morning. Maybe. I'll leave a maybe in there. I'll be back maybe tomorrow morning for early morning crypto talk before I head to the blockchain expo. I know there's a bunch of people supposed to meet tomorrow. So look forward to the last day there at that event. And I will be, I know tomorrow night. Oh yeah, I forgot. Tomorrow night is going to be there's going to be an event taking place on kgsglobal.info. So I'm not entirely sure if I'll be doing a presentation, but we will be Zooming at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific tomorrow night. probably do some crypto updates or KGX updates tomorrow night. So make sure you stay tuned for that. You'll probably be getting an email from the company about that. I'm not too sure just yet how that's going to play out. But anyways, I hope you learned something new. As always, that's the point. I strongly advise that if and whenever you can, invest in yourself and attend events like this. You said, Brandon, how did you become Bitcoin? Brandon, how you know so much stuff? Because I invest in this stuff. I go to these events. I read every day. I'm reading crypto. I don't skip. Even if I don't do a crypto talk, I'm still reading every day on what's going on. I'm paying attention to the news. And since it's been almost an hour since I've been talking, let's do a refresh and see what the market's looking like. Anything moved? Again, always look at the top first. 135 billion. Bitcoin dominance 53.6%. Bitcoin is 7%. So remember I said it was on a downward trend? It was at 8% change in the last 24 hours. Now it's at 7%. So the whole market, remember I said Tether was still in the green, which means people are pulling money out of the market here and moving it into Tether. And that, I'm assuming, a whale must have done something and gotten people's attention. Somebody's selling. I'm going to look at Polonius. Let me look at that one big whale that's got 80 Bitcoin up for sale. Oh, here's a new one. 40 Bitcoin. Or is that the same one? It's just the sale order's finally going through. Let me see if I see. Yeah, that's what happened. So remember that guy that's got 40 Bitcoin, or was that 80 something? 40 Bitcoin. So he's playing the game. It hit 42.18. The last price is 41.94. So yeah, it hit 42.18 and he sold. Now it's below that. It's 41.94. So he's not going to sell any more than those 40. Let's look at it here on the buy order. 28 Bitcoin. Why? 29 Bitcoin. Is that the same? Same guy? I can tell by the pattern. 29 and he's doing it at now 28, 42. There we go. That's the one. See the correlation? 40. 40. We got the same dude over here doing the same thing. And we got another player on here with 28 Bitcoin. So that's a buy order at 41.54. So I don't expect this to drop lower than 41.54 the next couple hours at least. And look at the Bollinger Bars. It started to slide here. Now it's kind of still sliding a bit. It's almost level. This is why it's important you know how to read these charts. Even if you're not a day trader, read the charts. All right, that's it from me for tonight. I will see you all definitely tomorrow, maybe tomorrow morning. Have a good evening. Bitcoin Brandon out. Bye-bye.